Horror cinema is often burdened by the weight of its own history. Iconic franchises like Scream, House of 1000 Corpses and Wrong Turn have set high standards, each bringing unique styles of terror to the screen. However, every so often, a film emerges that threatens to change the landscape entirely. A Fetish of Flesh, the upcoming horror film from Demented Media, stands poised to do just that. With its relentless brutality, nightmarish atmosphere and deeply disturbing antagonists, this film doesn't just aim to scare, it seeks to unsettle, to burrow into the viewer's psyche and linger long after the credits roll. One of the reasons horror fans continue to return to slasher and survival horror films is the allure of their villains. Ghostface is clever and sadistic, Captain Spaulding is maniacal yet charismatic, and the mutant cannibals of Wrong Turn are grotesquely primal. A Fetish of Flesh doesn't just introduce a killer, it introduces an entire lineage of madness, the Blackwood family. The Blackwoods are not simply murderers. They are an evolution of horror itself, a dynasty of depravity that has refined the act of human suffering into something far beyond mere butchery. Their lineage is built on rituals of mutilation, each generation passing down the grotesque knowledge of pain like a sacred heirloom. They do not kill out of necessity, nor out of mere insanity. They kill because it is in their blood, because it is their purpose. William Blackwood, the patriarch, is a relic of something ancient and unspeakable, his cruelty honed by years of sadistic wisdom. Hatchet, his unhinged disciple, wields his blade with a reverence akin to a sculptor shaping marble, except his medium is living flesh. Persephone, the family's matriarch, believes the act of consuming human flesh is a divine communion, twisting faith into something grotesquely intimate. Serenity, manic and theatrical, views torture as an art form, her victim's agony the paint on her blood-soaked canvas. Briar, a monstrous enforcer, moves with silent efficiency, his presence alone enough to siphon hope from the air. What sets the Blackwoods apart from other horror icons is their unity. Not as a dysfunctional band of killers, but as a calculated, methodical family with a doctrine rooted in agony. Their home is a shrine of suffering, their rituals spanning decades, their victims chosen with meticulous precision. This is not senseless violence, it is a philosophy of pain, an ideology of terror. And for those unfortunate enough to stumble into their domain, there is no mercy, no quick escape, only the certainty that their suffering will be prolonged, their bodies repurposed, their names erased. Each of these characters is meticulously crafted with distinct motives, weaponry, and styles of torture. Unlike the often one-dimensional killers of traditional slasher films, A Fetish of Flesh provides depth. These aren't just faceless villains chasing down victims, they are fully realized nightmares with history, culture, and a shared vision of terror. Modern horror often treads cautiously, balancing between shock value and mainstream appeal. A Fetish of Flesh rejects this restraint. From its opening moments, the film establishes an atmosphere of suffocating dread, pulling audiences into a world where suffering is not just inflicted but orchestrated with perverse devotion. A key strength of the film lies in its execution of violence. Rather than relying solely on jump scares or predictable slasher tropes, A Fetish of Flesh delves into psychological torment, forcing its characters, and by extension the audience, to confront the true depths of human depravity. One particular sequence, which recalls historical methods of execution but adapts them with nightmarish creativity, is bound to be one of the most talked about scenes in modern horror. Unlike Scream, which plays with meta-horror and satire, A Fetish of Flesh does not offer a reprieve. Unlike House of 1000 Corpses, which indulges in chaotic excess, this film is methodical, calculated in its carnage. Unlike Wrong Turn, which thrives on the raw savagery of inbred killers, A Fetish of Flesh injects intelligence into its brutality. Every kill has purpose, every scene of torment is crafted with an artist's eye, making it both grotesque and mesmerizing. Beyond the sheer brutality, A Fetish of Flesh is visually stunning in the most horrifying way possible. The cinematography traps viewers in its decayed world, abandoned churches, rotting farmhouses, and the vast, silent woods that swallow the unlucky whole. The sound design complements this perfectly, amplifying every wet squelch of flesh, every ragged breath, every whispered taunt from the killers. The film's score is another standout feature. Instead of relying on typical horror cues, it employs haunting, almost ritualistic compositions that heighten the unease. Silence is used just as effectively as sound, creating a palpable tension that makes even the quietest moments unbearable. Unlike many horror films that follow a predictable trajectory, A Fetish of Flesh keeps audiences on edge with its unpredictable narrative. While the killers are given terrifying depth, the victims are not merely fodder. They fight, they suffer, and in some cases they become something else entirely. And then, of course, there's the alternate ending. Without revealing too much, it is worth noting that A Fetish of Flesh does not provide easy resolutions. The alternate ending in particular offers a path so harrowing that it challenges conventional horror storytelling. It's the kind of conclusion that lingers, that sparks debate, that leaves audiences stunned in their seats questioning everything they just witnessed. Additionally, one particular character's fate is an eruption of blood-soaked horror pushing into territory never before explored in the genre. It is a moment so visceral and unexpected that it challenges the very limits of what horror cinema can achieve. The scene does not simply shock, it devastates, leaving a haunting imprint that audiences will struggle to shake. A fate that is hinted at, whispered through implications rather than outright stated. Fans of horror know that sometimes the unknown is far more terrifying than what is seen, and this film leverages that fear expertly. What makes A Fetish of Flesh the future of horror is its fearless commitment to originality. In a genre that often recycles concepts and relies on nostalgia, this film is something entirely new. It draws inspiration from historical atrocities, serial killers, and psychological horror but fuses them into a narrative that is wholly its own. More importantly, it challenges the audience. It does not provide the catharsis of a final girl triumphantly walking away, nor does it settle for shock value alone. It forces viewers to confront the darkness within, to acknowledge that some horrors do not die when the screen fades to black. As horror continues to evolve, A Fetish of Flesh is poised to be the film that pushes the boundaries, that redefines what is possible in the genre. It is not just a movie, it is an experience, an ordeal, a descent into madness that refuses to let go. For those who believe they have seen it all, who think horror no longer has the power to disturb, A Fetish of Flesh is here to prove them wrong.